everyone, to another episode of Arena STL brought to you by Phil in the Steel Sports Network here. Boy, talk about an interesting, non-troubling week in arena football at all for the two leagues here, before the Arena Football League and the Arena League. Though right before I did come on, I did hear about another league, which was kind of interesting. The owner of the Carolina Cobras, apparently, a statement got out, apparently is in $13 million worth of debt in the National Arena League. That's quite an interesting thing to find out on social media. But I digress. Before we get to the results of Week 6 of the Arena Football League and Week 1 of the new Arena League, there was a little bit of breaking news with the Arena Football League. They actually hired a general counsel and senior advisor of player operations, and that, of course, is former AFL commissioner from 2010 to, I believe, 2014, Jerry Kurtz. GC Sports Group is proud to announce the appointment of Jerry Kurtz as General Counsel and Senior Advisor of Player Operations for the Arena Football League. Kurtz will oversee legal compliance, player contract management, regulatory affairs, risk management, and player welfare. His role will ensure adherence to legal standards, negotiating and managing player contracts, maintaining regulatory compliance, mitigating legal risks, as well as a supporter player development and well-being. With his extensive expertise, he is poised to elevate the league's operational excellence and uphold the highest standards in professional sports. Kurtz will also be tasked with reinstitutionalizing the AFL's Hall of Fame and continuing the storied tradition of inducting an annual class. Kurtz boasts a distinguished 30-plus year career in professional sports, significantly impacting the Arena Football League, AFL. A key pioneer, he played a crucial role in the league's foundation and growth, securing a national broadcast contracts, team ownership, corporate partnerships, and international exposure. As the head of international development, Kurtz facilitated international exposure and player development by leading 21 international games. As president of AF2, that's the League 2, the minor league of the AFL, if everyone remembers that back in the mid-2000s. The AFL's developmental league, he helped grow it to 25 teams that led to revitalization of the AFL in 2010, as well as serving as commissioner, as I mentioned before. A member of Gridiron Enterprises, the founders of the AFL, he has experience in various football roles from player, coach, owner to commissioner. He is a member of 4 Football Hall of Fames, including being a member of the AFL's Hall of Fame inaugural class. He holds a Juris Doctorate from Northern Illinois University, and with his wife Catherine Hall, and also an attorney, has operated their law firm Hall and Kurtz. Jerry Kurtz appointment makes a significant milestone for the AFL, ensuring the league continues to thrive under his seasoned leadership and commitment to excellence. Chris Chady, managing member of GC Sports Group. So, yeah, this was needed, if you guys remember from previous episodes, that under the previous commissioner, Lee Hutton III, he did not really do much into what Jerry Kurtz is actually involved with here. For example, as I said, player contract management. That, of course, I mean, some players were not getting paid, like especially the ones that merged to the Champions Indoor Football League, because that was the contract that for the teams merging from the Champions Indoor Football League, which, of course, was the 3 Kansas teams. And now the cease operation last year, Rapid City Marshals did not, that are no longer, they could come back, but as of right now, their operations have ceased, and they were promised that the league would pay for player salaries, travel, room and board for those that merged. And adherence to the league, it's just that it's kind of interesting. They now hired Kurtz for this position, and then they hired a new COO last week. So now they're actually getting some building blocks together, which is kind of interesting why this was not set up in place before. But then again, under Lee Hutton III commissionership, some things were not the up and up as you have seen from previous episodes. And now we're here because as of right now, Arena Football League is now just 9 teams. And you can't see it because of my name. Sorry about that. And one thing that's interesting too, they're bringing back the Arena Football League Hall of Fame. That's good. Bring that back with inaugural classes, and it's there. So they're looking to have another season after this, which kind of what people would call a disaster. I would admit that, but now they're getting better and all of that. So that's good. And also having someone that was a former commissioner of your league within good standing, because the commissioner that unfortunately took his place after I believe he resigned or did something else. I can't quite remember the entire facts of him no longer being commissioner, nothing bad or anything as such. That guy, I remember, I can't remember his name. That was the guy that shortly after the Rams left St. Louis got on 101 ESPN and saying that they want to put a team in St. Louis, and nothing ever happened. Even though Dick Vermeil, former St. Louis Rams and now Hall of Fame, probably be a Hall of Fame coach at some point. I think he got in. Man, it's hot today. And nothing happened, and then they went to 4 teams, and then 2019 went away, and that was the guy that was in charge. But now, with under Jeff Fisher as the new commissioner, but let's be clear, interim, because I'm pretty sure they'll probably have a new commissioner for next season, because I think Fisher, because he was just one of the owners of the Nashville Cats and running it. He didn't plan to become commissioner, but of course, after what happened with Lee Hutton, they had to do something, and now they're getting the right people in the proper places so this league could be stabilized and continue. Now, the thing about that's quite interesting, because remember beginning of the season, because whenever we were supposed to be on the NFL network, that didn't happen. Then they got supposed to get on the local networks provided by Gray Television. That didn't happen. But then the one thing that did happen, they streamed on Viry Network. I believe the tagline for them was the culture of streaming. Wasn't a bad app, but it wasn't a good look, especially since no one heard it, even though supposedly for the first game of the Arena Football League, supposedly got, I believe, 65,000 streams for the first game. I can't really tell because I've been on there if that's true or not, but I digress. The one thing, though, is now it looks like all the games now for the Arena Football League, if you're not in market, as far as I know, I haven't seen any local TV deals for the remaining 9 markets as we speak. They are now on YouTube on the Arena Football League channel on YouTube, and it was actually quite good. It actually had some games at the same time, so subscribe to Arena Football League, and you'll be able to live stream games on YouTube. And, of course, another thing, too, is because we'll discuss in the Arena League, all of their games, which is at most 2 games a week, will also be on YouTube. Well, let's get to week 6. We're already halfway through, and we are going through the playoff hunt of everything with the Arena Football League. Of course, the first game, of course, was the Albany Firebirds against the Nashville Cats in Nashville. Very competitive and very defensive type of game. Of course, once again, my handpicked MVP of the year right now is actually Albany's wide receiver, Darius Prince, once again had another field day here with 122 receiving yards with 2 touchdowns. And you got Medlock as the quarterback having another one, about 58 completions, 198 yards, and a few touchdowns as well. Very competitive game within the East Division, and kind of need to do that there. And it's kind of funny. You would not think the Nashville Cats are 2-4 right now. You would not think that for how they played, but unfortunately, that's how it is in some sports leagues. You seem to be very good on paper, but not record-wise, even though you actually look good in paper with statistics and such. It's actually quite interesting with that. And Like I said, Albany beat the Cats 32-24. And Nashville, of course, they had some very good with their plays here. Oliver, the wide receiver, 99 yards, 3 touchdowns. And though their quarterbacks, though, I can't recall if it was just a change or an injury, but they had 2 quarterbacks playing for Nashville. And it it was okay, but it was mostly defensive type of game for the first one. And that's only one of 3 games this week for the Arena Football League. The second one, talk about cutting it close. The Billings and the West Texas Desert Hawks, 56-49. And honestly, I am quite surprised by how this went here. And because the first quarter, it was 1-13. The only point that the Billings had was just the roost they got at the beginning of the game. And then they just start to come back here second quarter, 21-10. 21 for the Billings and 10 for West Texas. Like starting to get momentum here, but only behind by 1 point. Third quarter, 21 points for Billings and only 2. A safety, or it was a safety or a deuce. I can't remember right now, dear Lord. Then the fourth quarter, 15 and then 24, but then Billings was able to come in and remain still undefeated in the Arena Football League, being the West Texas Deadhawks, which is another team that will probably be in the hunt for the championship at the Arena Bowl. And let's see, and very good stats here for Harks, the quarterback from Billings. 61 completion percentage, 154 yards, 5 touchdowns, and then they just have a good running game. Which people that have seen the Arena Football League, to get close to 50 yards rushing in an Arena Football game, that's actually pretty good. And Swarbato got like 48 yards and 2 touchdowns. If I remember, that was a big guy, if I remember correctly. Then for the wide receiver, 59 yards with Higgins, 59 yards, 3 touchdowns. Desert Hawks, pretty good with their quarterback, Bunn here. 160 completion percentage, 270 yards, 6 touchdowns. This was mostly a pass-happy type of game here with offense. Defense really didn't do much in this game here, as most Arena Football games do. But when you get those defensive-type games, that actually is a good sight to see. And their best wide receiver, of course, as right now is wide receiver Caleb Smith, 130 yards receiving with 4 touchdowns. So that was, of course, Bunn's first target. Then for the final game, now this was a very back and forth game in defensive too between the Central Division with the Salina Liberty and the Southwest Kansas Storm. 34-31, the Kansas Storm pulled the upset here. And I have to say, because first quarter, Saline, they actually got the first point with a rouge. Then the Southwest Kansas Storm actually, what was probably one of the most amazing interceptions I have ever seen, because in Arena Football, you have those padding boards, if you will, and the ball can actually bounce off of that if it doesn't hit the ground. Selena's quarterback threw it up, and it actually bounced off the thing of the board, and the Storm player, defensive player, caught it, got an interception, and got good field position, and they were able to score. That's one of the rare things I have ever seen it. I've seen it bounce off a net for interception return for either for a touchdown or pretty good game, but never actually from the dashboard bounce off of there and get intercepted after the quarterback threw the ball. Then second one, Saline scored 14, while Southwest Kansas Storm scored 16. Then third quarter, Southwest Kansas Storm got shut out in that quarter, and Saline got 6 points. And then Saline got 10, and the Southwest Kansas Storm actually kind of put it away in a little bit. Got the field goal and then got the Rouge to close out the game there. And it was like not much offense, but mostly defense. You got a defensive score here and there. And not to mention, both teams had to use two quarterbacks. Both were down due to mostly performance. So uh, you get what you get there, but not a bad week. As I said before, Albany beat Nashville for that division standing. Billings beat West Texas Desert Hawks, so could be a conference championship matchup before the Arena Bowl. And then the Southwest Kansas Storm in the Central Division upsetting Salina Liberty 34-31. And as of right now, when it comes to the standings, at the bottom, we got the Washington Wolfpack at 1-4. Wichita Regulators 1-3. Both these teams had a bye. Nashville Cats, as I said, very good team, but just needs to translate the game. 2-4. Orlando Predators are 2-2. Southwest Kansas Storm 3-3. West Texas Desert Hawks 3-3. Salina Liberty 3-2. Billings Outlaws 5-0. And then, of course, the other undefeated team, Albany Firebirds 6-0. And when it comes to division standings, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky because you started at 16 and now you're back to 9. And it's just like in the West, they have Billings Outlaws and Washington Wolfpack, and it's all redded out or blacked out with the other two teams with the Oregon Black Bears, which they should be number 2. Right now we're 3-1, but they are no longer playing this season. And then the Central, Salina Liberty 3-2, Southwest Kansas Storm 3-3, and then the Wichita Regulators 1-3, and then Iowa Rampage 1-1. And as you remember, the owners, they no longer have that. They're no longer in existence. South Division, West Texas Desert 3-3, Orlando Predators 2-2. Be interesting who comes out of there. Albany Firebirds 6-0. Honestly, they pretty much, like, there's a chance Nashville could come in and win, and I think Albany just wins the East as of right now. So it's going to be interesting how the playoffs are formed in this type of thing, because usually with the Arena Football League, how it goes, the 1 seed, the division winners, of course, get a playoff game. So as of right now, there would be them facing another one. So there would be, of course, 4 games, then 2, then 1. So I'm guessing that's the format. Of course, when Lee Hutton was in charge, there was supposed to be some games here that were supposed to be in potential future AFL markets. Heck, the standings I'm actually got it from the Arizona Bandits page on X, which is kind of interesting because it looks like as of right now, they're probably a team that is coming next year. Though the other new team, the Chicago Rush, they have been silent, but they were way silent before. So it'll be interesting to see if one, or as of right now, we can guarantee the Arizona Bandits are coming in. Now, the Chicago Rush, we'll see, because they were supposed to be coming, but then the owner kind of said we need like another year. So they might be coming back, but we'll just have to see. You just never know. And plus, who else is going to be coming in next year? And who knows, maybe a team from this place above me. But that's it for week 6. Week 7, though, we got some good matchups here. Albany at West Texas, Washington versus Salina Liberty, Nashville at Billings, and then, of course, you got the Wichita Regulators at the Kansas City Storm, another Kansas versus Kansas type of matchup. So if I were have to go and choose for this week, I would probably go with Albany over the Desert Hawks, but I expect that game to be close. Washington Wolfpack over Salina over the Wolfpack. Salina's just like, even though they got mad beaten by the Storm, they probably want to get back to business against the Washington Wolfpack. Nashville and Billings. I'll go with the upset here because Nashville just needs to get a win, and Billings, they got enough wins in order to get the division there, so why not? And then I got the Storm over the Regulars. The Regulars roster has not been impressive. Even my guest from the first episode, Zach Kilman, even agreed with that. But we'll see what happens, because, and a reminder, all 4 of these games will be on the Arena Football League's YouTube page. That's the only way to see them now. As I said, Virate Network looks like they're no longer associated with them. So just YouTube, subscribe, doesn't cost anything, and it's some good things to watch over the weekend. We're going to take a little break here before we get to the Arena League, which is actually quite interesting and actually made me think a little bit different because I made a mistake on a thing of how they played, but we'll get back to it more after commercial break.
Houston, we've triumphed. I've made it back to Earth with the cargo intact. The game-changing, time-sensitive payload is none other than the revolutionary energy flavor we've all been waiting for. Introducing Merc Mayhem Cherry Limeade. Merc Clan played a crucial role in securing this energy flavor, and together we've unlocked the future of power. Merc Mayhem is not just a drink, it's a statement, a fusion of relentless energy and bold flavor. The secret is out. Merc Mayhem is set to redefine the energy landscape, leaving ordinary drinks in its cosmic dust. Get ready for a taste explosion that matches Merc Clan's unparalleled power. Join the revolution, and let's unleash Merc Mayhem upon the world. Astronaut M signing off.
Same great taste. Yes, same great taste. Same great taste.
We're back. Actually, kind of in the mood for a jacket right now. Now then, back to what is week one of the new Arena League. And in the past, we saw like the videos I posted on here, covers it's 6-on-6, and about every player is eligible to catch the ball, of course, besides the quarterback. And the quarterback, of course, cannot cross the line of scrimmage for a rush or anything of such. And when I first thought about it, it seemed like they took out the running back and a wide receiver, and then you have three linemen there. No. When watching these two games, once again, these games are also on YouTube for the Arena League, on the Arena League or at the Arena League page on YouTube. They only technically have one lineman on both sides of the ball, the center and the nose. And that's the only way to hike the ball to the quarterback. And interesting enough, the center is able to receive the ball, but the only time it cannot, if it's less than 5 yards from the end zone. So that's kind of an interesting type of thing. I could see where they're going for, because in a way, like the best way to put it with the Arena League, it's arena football, but with more of like flag football recess type rules, because I remember playing flag football leagues with recess where about everyone is available to catch the ball or get the ball from the quarterback. Now then, like I said last week, both games were in Missouri, one in KC and the other in Springfield. And the Missouri teams did not have any preseason games beforehand. So the Iowa, they won their preseason game, and then the Duluth Harbor Monsters beat, of course, what was the team that was disguised as the Philadelphia Soul in week one. Beat them pretty good in Duluth and had a pretty good like atmosphere and stuff. So Now, when it comes to the two games in Missouri, congratulations, Missouri. Both the teams won, both in Casey and Springfield, but it was kind of a tale of two different type of environments, if you will. Let me start with KC. I don't know what was the deal with the broadcast. It was streaming fine, but it had serious audio issues. Like you couldn't hear like the background of the crowd and stuff. Even though it was a pretty good crowd, I'll go about that in a moment. And it's like the stadium announcer stuff were like trying to talk to somebody, but it was like kind of like talking like this, and there was so much static like this, and it was like, oh, I can barely hear, but it was a very like for a moment there because the Kansas City Goats actually had to come back against the Duluth Harbor Monsters, and they were able to win against them. Where was that? Here I had it here. Oh, here we are. Beat them. Yeah. Why am I forgetting? I can't find the score anywhere. Oh, that's my fault. I apologize. But the Kansas City Goats were able to come back and win against the Duluth Harbor Monsters. Now, the Springfield game in Springfield, the Ozark Lunkers beat the Iowa Woo 69-40. And even though it wasn't a very close game, the Lunkers were pretty much a dominant team throughout. And the broadcast was perfect. It was, like I said, Kansas City Goats game seemed like you were watching a standard division, while the Springfield game seemed like you were watching on 4K television. It was nice and clear. The sound was perfect. The camera angles and stuff. The camera angles for the Kansas City game was good. It just that it had serious audio problems. And the atmosphere was pretty good there. The mascot has, it looks like the logo, but it kind of gives like a little bit of like this type of face here of the mascot. I thought that was kind of funny. And before the game, they actually had Dallas Cowboy running back Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith and throughout the coin toss and was there at the game. And of course, it was just a fun type of game to watch. I was having fun with it, with both offense and the defensive side of the ball. Of course, like I said, there's only one lineman. They hike the ball, and it just pandemonium chaos, but good type of chaos all over the place. And it was just a fun thing to watch. And believe it or not, you were able to see the views between the 3 Arena Football League games against the 2 Arena League games. And believe it or not, viewership was pretty much close and almost exact and mimic each other, even though the Arena League just started this week and Arena Football League started a few weeks ago. But to be clear, they just had all their games on YouTube the week before. So once again, now it's going to be interesting with all the games on YouTube. Like, it's kind of interesting because you have this fledgling league with the Arena League with a different type of deal. And then the Arena Football League, of course, once again, a lot of turmoil. So it's going to be interesting how it is. It's fun to compare. They're two different type of leagues. Like, they might compete for players in the future. And Arena League, of course, is more into the mid-markets, while I think the Arena Football League will try to tax the mid-markets, but they want to get into the more major markets. And where, if you will, of course, they want to bring the Philadelphia Soul back. I know that, though I kind of wish they brought back the New York Dragons, but it is expensive in New York. But for the first week in attendance, it was actually pretty good, actually, for both Missouri. Kansas City brought in 2,136 attendance, and just to be clear, the stadium that both these the arenas that they play in is not like a regular size arena type of size. So this kind of like fits more to, I would say, more of the minor, maybe AHL or maybe lower minor league hockey type venues. So that was actually not bad, though. I would expect for KC maybe a little more just because Springfield, though, they were in actually had fans of the week type of thing. So that's going to be interesting. Kind of wish the UFL had that, but I digress. Ozark in Springfield, the Lunkers attendance was 3,416. Let me say it again. 3,416, man. Like, there was a lot of people. It wasn't full to capacity, but there was a good amount. And not bad for a first game for Springfield, which is this is the only time they ever had an arena-type team in Springfield, Missouri. Offensive player, Boo Smith from the Kansas City Goats. 11 receptions, 133 yards, 6 touchdowns. Once again, that was one of the big reasons KC was able to come back and win there. Defensive, Brock Carter, Ozark. 12 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 1 interception, and got that to a defensive touchdown. Then for special teams, it's only a returner because when it comes to the Arena League, there is no kicker. And if those who missed last week's episode, they do like a throw off, like someone throws the ball like they're kicking and throw it out to the other side for the return to get it. And was Terrence Winslow from Duluth, 9 returns, 171 yards, 1 touchdown. And this is actually pretty good for this man here because Terrence Winslow was actually part of the course, one of the more disorganized teams in the AFL, the Minnesota Myth. That, of course, was Lee Hutton's wife's team. So it's actually good for him to sign there. He is from Duluth, so they got some local talent there. And that's also one thing, too, I kind of like with the Arena League. You got some more local stuff. Heck, the head coach of the Ozark Lunkers went to Missouri State. That is, of course, the university in Springfield, Missouri. And good luck to them because they got bumped up to Conference USA starting next year. So that's going to be interesting for that type of football. And there, boy, college football just looks completely different starting this year. And I don't know if ever going to look the way it is, especially with all the NIL stuff. And so for the Arena League, though, there is only one game. So the other 2 teams have a bye, and it's the Kansas City Goats at the Iowa Woo. That's, for Saturday night at 7:05. Who would win? That is a very good question because the Woo is coming off from, technically you could say they're 1-1, but their win was a preseason game, and KC is, of course, the winner. So, I don't know. I'll go for root for Missouri here for Kansas City Goats beats the Iowa Woo, but I don't know. I expect this to be kind of close since this is a away game for Iowa, and the Waterloo, Iowa is very, very interested and intrigued by what happened during the preseason. So it's going to be interesting with the new Arena League stuff, though. So, of course, here within the next few weeks, there's only going to be like at most 7 games to talk about because now there's actually going to be 5 games now for the Arena Football League. And as I said, at most 2 for the Arena League. There's going to be some weeks that's going to be 2 games and others for 1 with buys and stuff. My guess that's probably from the schedule with the arenas and such. And it's going to be interesting how the Arena League goes here forward because they're getting momentum. People know about them. And then they're going to be adding 2 teams starting next year. One in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And boy, the 6th one is kind of hard for me to think where it is right now. Where was it? I think it was Arkansas. I have to check back on my notes. I apologize for that. But it's going to be interesting, as I said here, for these 2 leagues here, because like Arena Football League's gained some more people filled in with positions to consolidate the foundation that was already kind of slipping due to Lee Hutton's, what's the right word for this? Lies, ignorance, and I'll just say plain arrogance. And just trying to see and just get it back to, because the Arena Football League, I do believe could work, but if run correctly, and it'll just be interesting to see. And also, one thing too is for the Arena League course, for the Arena Football League, you got the Arena Bowl. It looks like there's a little peek of the Arena League Championship and what it's called here. Hold on. As you can see, it says Arena Mania. So you kind of got a little bit kind of like pro wrestling type of stuff there. Hello, Excalibur. Nice to thank you for watching Arena STL. Be seeing you on Sunday. Yeah, so like I said, it's good. Like I tried to get a guest on for this week, but unfortunately couldn't make it. I'm definitely going to, and unfortunately that one guest I've been trying, he's unavailable for Tuesday, but there's a chance I might try to bring a guest that we've had before. Hint, if I'm able to. If not, it's okay going solo here, but be nice to have something to bounce off of. But I digress. So going back with the picks here that I had Albany beating West Texas, Salina beat Washington, Nashville upsetting the Billings, and then the Storm being IC. And then, of course, Kansas City going up to Waterloo, Iowa, and beating the Woo. That's it for tonight's episode of Arena STL. Be sure to catch us again next Tuesday. And also, stay on for the other programs that we hear at the Fuel Sports Network. See you next week.